Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Meerkat Musings. I'm your host, Ben, aka Daft Timon, and today I'm not talking about Nintendo, but I am talking about video games. And it's unusual for me to talk about video games and not talk about Nintendo, but I am actually going to look at something completely different, but something which is also hungrily anticipated, and it has been for several years now, and it's something that in theory we will see later on in 2025. Now, some of you have probably already guessed what I'm talking about. Some of you are thinking, please get to the point. So, okay, Grand Theft Auto 6. It's been talked about for many years. We had a trailer at the end of 2023. That trailer promised us that the game would be released in 2025, although I have read one or two rumours and suggestions that it may in fact come out in 2026. However, I've also heard other rumours that will come out in 2025 as originally intended. So I'm inclined to think that we'll see it this year. Of course, we're only in January, and there's a lot of ground to cover as far as 2025 is concerned. So we may see it, by the middle of the year. We may not see it until right before Christmas. Who knows, is the bottom line. But it's probably fair to say that this is one of, if not the most eagerly desired games to ever grace the video game market. This obviously very controversial series of games has been one of the best selling ranges that we have ever seen, with millions upon millions of players enjoying GTA Online. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been circulating now for what feels like forever, actually, to be fair. And that has been a hugely successful title, albeit a title that has frustrated some gamers, because every time you think that Rockstar Studios might be about to talk about GTA 6, they've remastered GTA 5, or so it feels. GTA 5 actually has crossed 3 different generations of PlayStation. It came out on the PS3 and PS4 right at the very end of the PS3's life cycle, but did just about squeak onto that console. And of course, it was then remade for the PlayStation 5. But gamers, by that point, were kind of keen to see the next installment. And it felt like it was just kind of taking ages. But to be fair, that's because Rockstar Games, I believe they've wanted to make the best possible game that they could. That's why it spent so long in development, and that's why they're taking their time to make sure by the time that we do see it, that it's as polished as it can be. And also that, with luck, it will be as free from bugs and glitches as it can possibly be. Nothing will be perfect, but I think that this is obviously a massive labour of love for the studio. It's also a very expensive title as well. It's costing them a fortune to make it. So the last thing that they need or want is to release a game that's actually quite buggy and not all that good, because that would have a huge impact on its success and therefore, of course, a huge impact on the studio's profits. They're not making this game strictly for fun. They do want to try and make money out of it. And that brings me to one of the next, shall we say, challenges, really, because the other thing is this game could launch at about 100 quid. That's why the figures I've seen kind of batted around is we could see GTA 6 setting gamers back £100, $100. And some within the gaming industry are actually hoping that this could establish a new benchmark for video game pricing, as aggravating as frustrating as that would be for gamers. The studios are quietly desiring that kind of new norm, so to speak. I, for one, certainly hope that isn't the case. I can kind of understand and maybe even tolerate the idea of GTA 6 being 100 quid. But I think that for that to become the new normal in the industry would be absolutely disastrous. It would price most games out of the market for most fans if that became normal. I mean, as it is, you do see some titles already which are in that price bracket, but they're usually special editions, platinum editions, that this, that, and the other. Even regular games are quite expensive, and to the point where you might think it's actually faintly absurd. And I certainly hope that we don't see 100 quid become the regular sort of thing. Like I say, I can understand it on occasion, but I wouldn't tolerate it as the normality. It just wouldn't work for me. So that's the other thing Rockstar Games have got to kind of carefully consider, because if they do sell this game at 100 quid and it isn't actually all that great, then it really would be a disaster for them. So they're taking their time, which is, as I say, as a fan of games, it's frustrating because you want it now. But equally, it's the sort of thing that you're prepared to understand and tolerate if it means you're going to get something which is actually, by the time it's done, really, really good. This is where I dare say that Nintendo have tended to be very, very good, because they will take their time over their Zelda games, for example. They've taken their time over the Switch 2, one would argue, and they're making sure that when they release something, it's basically as close to perfect as it can possibly be. And I think Rockstar Games are sensibly taking the same approach to GTA 6. Yes, we all want it now, but we also want something that when it launches will be a good, high-quality game that we can enjoy and thoroughly enjoy at that. So that's kind of like the preamble of where we might be with GTA 6. Do we know anything else about it? Well, there are always rumours, of course. There's talk about a much bigger map than we saw in GTA 5. That in itself would be impressive, because the map in GTA 5 wasn't exactly tiny. There's talk of revisions to how the wanted system works, and there's talk of incorporating into the game concepts like number plate recognition, CCTV, and that kind of thing. So perhaps the dynamic in how you handle sort of being chased by the police and that kind of thing will fundamentally change a bit. I heard one rumour, but again, you have to take this with a pinch of salt, that being arrested might actually now see your character landed in jail and having to do jail time and having to survive the prison experience. Again, no idea as to that one. One thing that we do know is that we will see a female protagonist in the game, which traditionally the GTA games have kind of shied away from a little bit. And there's rumours that it might also subvert some of the typical expectations around these games. Grand Theft Auto games have often had a number of kind of little in-jokes and digs at conventions and that kind of thing. And we may see some of that in itself subverted in GTA 6, but we won't know until we see more. The thing that a lot of people want right now is another trailer, something to kind of give fans more information. We keep hearing every single day talk of another trailer, but so far nothing has actually materialised in that regard. So we just have to keep wondering, keep waiting, and sooner or later Rockstar Games will do us proud, I think, and will give us both an incredible trailer to whet the appetite, and I think they'll give us a very good game.